Greetings, viewers. This is CP666 signing on for a video of my most recent cassette deck acquisition. This is another little piece of pro gear, I would say. Well, it's prosumer. It's more expensive, consumer grade. It's not really professional or anything like that. It is a Proton 740 stereo cassette deck. It's single deck. It's not a dual deck or anything really fancy. It is logic control, but it is not auto-reverse, which is actually really good, because I tend not to, even though I've got a whole bunch of them, like this deck up here, this RSTR 270, it's auto-reverse. In fact, most of my decks are auto-reverse. I got a lot of them that are also sitting up there that are also auto-reverse, but I tend not to like auto-reverse decks because, well, let's face it, after so many times flipping the head around like that, they just get out of alignment. So, see some of the controls here. Record, pause. I don't know exactly what that really means, although I'm pretty sure it's just for recording, because you know, you push it and it doesn't pause it, so whatever. Stop, play, rewind, fast forward, usual controls there. Record, mute, that's when you're recording, and it adds 5 seconds of blank space, so that way things like automatic program search, which is APS, so those work. Counter reset. This is a memory thing. That's a really advanced feature. It's sort of like, I guess, repeat on a CD player. You can, you know, set a little area, and then you can do all that, and it'll actually repeat that area or something. I don't really remember how all that works. I've never really experimented with it. It's got Dolby B and C noise reduction. Something else that it's got is DBX noise reduction. There was a switch on the back that I think, for an MPX filter. I can't really go around to the back and show you because this thing is limited with what it can do. I don't have a battery for this camera, so. We've got left and right microphone inputs. This auto function here, I've got no idea what this actually does. I haven't been able to get it to really do much of anything. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to pull it out and make it do something or what, but there's the output level control. I just leave it turned all the way up, though, because I use the line level output. It actually controls the headphone output and also the line level output. On most decks that have got headphone outputs and output levels, it just controls the output level for the headphone. It doesn't do it for the line output, sorry. So that's actually a really nice feature. It's got record level control sliders. You can control left and right separately. And I think that's pretty much it. Power and eject, obviously. And other things it's got. Automatic tape select. Tape type selector. We have anything from normal, chromium dioxide, and metal. APS. That's for the automatic program search. A linear counter, which is really cool because it's not like counters on something like this where it, you know, counts cycles of the actual tape mechanism. It actually counts minutes and seconds. And it's pretty accurate, too. There's our level meter. Here you can see DBX, Dolby BC noise reduction. It's actually in really good condition. I mean, there's some scratching here. That probably happened at the thrift store. This thing was probably in excellent shape. It looks, I mean, on first glance anyways, it looks like it's probably something that's extremely cheap, but it's not. It's actually really heavy. It's got double stacked circuit boards inside. It's got all kinds of components. It's really frighteningly complicated inside. I had to take it apart and adjust the speed on it in order to get that accurate. I think it might have a belt issue, but it seems to be holding speed now so far. So if it is a belt issue, it's a pretty minor one. I adjusted the speed on it, and it works perfectly fine now. So I got a couple tapes here that we can use to test this out. I don't have any metal tapes, but I do have a chromium dioxide that we're going to use. And we're going to demonstrate the automatic program search on this thing with that. Maybe not with... I'll probably use these two to demonstrate APS, and then we'll just do some more playback tests with the other two. But anyways, you're probably wondering what I paid for such a professional piece of equipment. Only $10. Yeah, $9.99 was all they wanted for this. It didn't have a tag on it, so I guess there was one thing. But $9.99, that's it. I think that's pretty cool. And so far it's been working really nicely. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. We can see The lighting, unfortunately it is a high hour unit, so some of these controls are a little dim, or some of the lights are a little dim. Something else I want to point out though is that it's actually got, sort of like radios, it's got a dial lamp kind of thing. I'd imagine it's supposed to be brighter than that, but it's obviously high hour, so it's kind of dim. But it does actually work really well. Alright, let's go ahead and insert a tape. Not motorized eject or anything, and this actually does kind of like to get caught, so I have to be careful with it. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's something that's not in alignment. So I'm going to try out the automatic program search with this chromium dioxide mixtape. So we'll push the APS button. I think what I want is one track, and we'll press reverse to go back. Then we can see it working. Hopefully this will actually work. Yep, there we go. Stop that before I get my video muted. Go ahead and eject that. I found that it's actually easier to use the eject lever when there's a tape inside the unit as opposed to when there is not. I wonder why that is. That's actually pretty interesting. This one is cued at the very end. It's cued for In the Air Tonight, but I want the first song, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try out. This is what sets this apart from all of my other decks, because my Technics up here can only do one song at a time. In fact, all my other decks can only do one song at a time, with the exception of the TAC SW200, which does no music search, and the Vector Research, which has no music search, and I think, yeah, no, the JVC piano control also doesn't have any music search. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself, so we want one for In the Air Tonight. We want one for You Belong to the City, one for On the Night, one for Smuggler's Blues, and then one for the original Miami Vice theme. So that's 5 songs. You can take a look at that. Watching a tape rewind in real time. How exciting. I found that this one's a little bit more sensitive to gaps than all my other decks as well, so yeah, I think that was one too many. Whoops. Oh, maybe not. I think I'll get that one. Okay. I'm gonna double check that and make sure. Yeah, there we go. Make sure I don't wake everybody up. It's almost 3:30 in the morning. I'll go ahead and stop that. You can probably tell how awful that sounds. That's one of these stupid compilation tapes. Double tape set equivalent to 3 LPs. These are garbage. Who made this? Ruby Records Unlimited. I have both of them. They sound like crap. Both of them are missing the pressure pads. So it's really amazing that it works as well as it does. But it's pretty much entirely re-recordings. There are a couple original hits on there, that are actually the original recordings, but most of them are not. Most of them are just the stupid re-recording garbage. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is I'm thinking about compiling and one of these days I will actually do it. I'm going to compile a list and get all of the songs that are on these tapes, and I'm going to just remake the tapes, because the tapes are in awful condition anyways. I'll remake the tapes and Oh, that'll be that. I think that'll be cool, you know, make the tapes with the actual original hits. I wonder how many people actually bought these stupid things and, you know, thought that those were the original recordings. They're not. Speaking of unoriginal recordings, this is another one of those stupid things. I hate these. But I'm going to experiment with some of the noise reduction things here. So we'll turn some of those on while this is actually playing and see what happens. I don't think I should need the APS feature. Should be cued. Yeah, there we go. That's awful. There's it with Dolby B. And Dolby C. DBX. Okay, so that's enough of that. You could tell, obviously, Dolby B works for just about any tape. I don't think it requires any encoding. This tape would probably be encoded in B anyways, even if it needs encoding. Because it does have the Dolby symbol on it, so it would probably be Dolby B. So that's why it sounded fine. It sounded okay in Dolby C as well, but Dolby C does require encoding, so it's got to be recorded with Dolby C on it. I think both of them are like that. I'm not really positive on that, though, because I've never really experimented too much with any of these. DBX is the best system, but I know that it also does require encoding, so I'll have to make a mixtape with Dolby or DBX encoding on it and see how that goes. At some point, maybe we'll make a separate video about it. But until then, there is your Proton 740 stereo cassette deck. Really awesome cassette deck. I love this thing already. And I really, really, really especially love the automatic program search feature. It makes queuing these cassette tapes for the low-end radio broadcast so much easier. So, of course, obviously, there's a tendency to overshoot songs on these things, but after a while, you'll learn this. I've only had this thing for maybe about a week or so, so I haven't really had it for that long. And it's proven to be a rather excellent addition to the studio. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I have noticed that if you turn it off and then back on again, the counter resets itself. Unlike with all these other cassette decks, where the counters actually stay intact. This is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.